Hey, Calamity here with Diné Company in the background, if you can see it. Uh, Today we have Jeff DeMent, and we're going to get to know him a little bit better. So we have some questions that we are going to ask. And I think number one is Jeff, tell me about where you grew up, where you're from. And because you did tell me a little bit, but I'm really fascinated by that.
Right. So I grew up in southern Missouri in the Ozarks. Yeah. My family had a mule ranch there. So we raised mules, gated mules, which is kind of, I guess, interesting, or you don't really hear that a lot.
No, that's unusual. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty.
Yeah. But everyone is always asking me, like, oh, you're a Diné. How did you get to Missouri or whatever? And then I say, well, the Navajo Nation's only been there for 150 years or something. So that's relatively new, like in our existence here on this continent. So like I said, before that, we just went wherever, and then we kind of laugh or whatever. And then we go on. But my mom, she was born at Two Gray Hills, New Mexico. And she was, this was during the boarding school era. And so she went to residential school, and then from there she was adopted. And when she was about 10 years old, they had moved to Missouri because the adopted dad, I think, was having some heart problems or something, so he needed to be at a lower elevation. And so they had family in Missouri, so they moved there. And so that's how I came to be, because my mom pretty much grew up in Missouri after that. And so I was born there, and I grew up there, went to school there and everything, all that stuff. Yeah.
And during that time, you're able to stay in touch with your family back at home.
Yeah. I was thankful that my mom's adopted parents, they kept her in contact with her mom and with all of her brothers and sisters on the Navajo Nation and in this area. And we would come out to visit here to Colorado, and we grew up pretty poor. Okay, we didn't have a lot, but when we could afford to travel and stuff, then we were always coming out here to the Southwest to visit family and my grandmother and all that stuff. And I'm thankful to have been exposed to that. And I think that's where I got my first taste of silver and turquoise jewelry. Really, some of those trips, I mean, at that time, though, it was very unattainable, because, we didn't have money to spend and all that. Yeah. I remember one time we were traveling back, and I think we had stopped at, I think it was Klein's Corners, New Mexico. And just traveling, get fuel and stuff. And we were in there, and they have that big gift shop and everything. We were looking around, and my mom was going to get this little, it was a Kachina doll that she really liked. And I had found this hat, and it had a piece of turquoise on the band. And it wasn't expensive or anything, but one of my memories of my mom was she sacrificed her, because she only had a small amount of money. So she sacrificed and put aside that thing that she was going to get, the Kachina. And she bought this hat for me. And so, I don't know, it's just like, things like that I really remember from my childhood and growing up.
Growing up in the Ozarks, it's really, it's pretty interesting for me, and probably for the audience too. But you went to high school, and what was it like? Did you have any, did you play any sports or anything like that? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I think overall my experience was okay. It was beautiful there in Missouri. It gets a lot of rain, and we have trees and hills. They call it the Ozark Mountains. Nothing like the mountains here, but they're, pretty steep and kind of a little bit rugged in areas. But also, though, there's a lot of racism and discrimination I felt like that I had to deal with as a kid, especially bullying and stuff like that in high school. And I don't know, I feel like it shaped me in just the way that I felt like I had to be better at things than everyone else, just to kind of, I don't know if it's like meet the standard or, prove myself or whatever. Yeah. And I think that's where a lot of maybe my perfectionism or my, whatever you want to call it, OCD, some people say, but yeah. I'm just saying. Yeah. But I mean, I was a good student. I made straight A's and all that stuff. And I mean, I guess it was pretty easy for me, school. And, I played basketball. Yeah, I was really into that. So, yeah. But during high school, like I didn't play sports on the sports team or anything because I was working. So I feel like I've almost had a full-time job since I was probably like 13 or 14. Yeah. Just trying to help out, help my family out, that sort of thing. And we worked in the logging industry, and we ended up buying a sawmill, myself, my dad, and my brothers. I have 2 brothers. And so I worked in the sawmill all through high school and all that in the timber industry. So, and that was hard work. So,
Jeez, okay.
Yeah,
Man, you
it's pretty hardcore.
School and work and adversity too. With because I'm kind of guessing that there was a lot of like other minorities around, except for.
No, it was mostly just predominantly white, and then I don't know. It was kind of like, I don't know how to describe it really, but I don't want to say redneck, but. I mean, I say that in a loving way, like, I mean, there are some amazing people there too, and I don't want to focus on the negative so much, but, there was a lot of racism and stuff, but I also had a large extended family on my dad's side. And so, and that was great. And growing up, just being around my aunts and uncles and my cousins and just, and I have good friends still from my childhood and my teenage years. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. Okay.
Yeah.
And then from after, high school, you went to college, and then
So after high school, I wanted to go into architecture or engineering, and I decided, like I said, we didn't have a lot of money, and I was working hard to try to pay for my schooling and all that, and so I started out at a community college there in Missouri, and ended up. That's a big reason I joined the military. So I initially joined the Army National Guard because they're like, hey, come and join the Army National Guard. We'll pay for your college. You can work here at the Armory full time while you're not going to school, and just like all these things. And they're like, oh, you're never going to get deployed and all this. And then guess what? Yeah, just deployed. And I'd get a semester in school and get deployed again, and like that sort of thing. But yeah, I don't know. And I know I've talked about my military experiences and everything quite a bit, and I just want to. I guess I want to say that I was in the military for 16 years total. I had 12 active years, 4 reserve component years. But although that was a huge part of my life, and I feel like I sacrificed a lot to be there, and I don't know, I have some injuries from there, and some PTSD and things like that. But it doesn't define who I am as a person or an artist, And I don't know, I feel like some people kind of just like, that whole stereotyping thing or whatever, like about being a veteran and all that. But yeah, I'm my own person, and in retrospect, I feel like being injured and everything in the line of duty is one of the best things that's ever happened to me. Yeah. Because it made me like stop and kind of reset, even though it was very not cool at all and it was not fun, but yeah. And I kind of bounced on the bottom there for a bit, but it just opened my eyes to all the other thoughts and ideas and opinions in the world. And I guess just opened me up to accepting all that stuff. And it just really changed my life. Yeah. It kind of got me out of that military mindset and, like being institutionalized by all that training and everything. Yeah. But it was a wake up call for me. And so it was awesome. I mean, I think now looking back, not every day. Some days I'm like, oh, that hurts or this hurts. But yeah, I mean, you're either going to keep moving forward. I try to keep my health and stuff in line, because, you have options still, even with injury. And people are like, oh, you're injured. You don't look injured and all this stuff. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe I play it off well, but I think as long as, I don't know, like I cut alcohol and like all these other things, and I try to just keep myself, in that harmony way that we talk about as Diné. Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know, it just helps, I'm either going to keep moving forward and find ways to still do the things I love, or what are you going to do? Sit on the couch and just, watch TV and give up on life. Yeah. I'm just not a quitter, I guess.
That's what's up. What's up. Okay. The next question. What inspired you to get into your art? I know there probably do a lot more than this silversmithing, but tell us your journey about how you became an artist.
Yeah, so thinking back, I've always loved to create since I was a kid, whether it was like art class in school or some project I was working on, or just taking things apart and putting them back together just to see how they worked. that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then growing up on a ranch, I mean, we didn't have money to go hire like someone to come and do things for us or fix things. And so people are always like, hey, how do you learn to do this? Or how do you learn to like work on cars? Or how do you learn to like do construction or whatever the things that I do? And I'm just like, because I was poor, but for real, and it was either you fix it yourself or didn't get fixed. So I think that was a big part of it. But also, I wasn't exposed to a lot of, I love music, right? And art and all these things, but I wasn't exposed to that during my childhood very much because my mom, when she was adopted and moved from the Navajo Nation, I guess that whole decolonizing and all that stuff, she became Pentecostal Christian. Yeah. And so my whole childhood, I was brought up like that, super strict Pentecostal, going to church every time they had church and everything. And I learned a lot from it. And I'm I guess, thankful to have had a decent childhood and things like that. But I guess when I was able to get out on my own, that's when I kind of started like experiencing more art and music and culture. And I feel like I kind of rebelled against that a little bit and kind of just got out into the world there for a while. And but that was in my early college years and things like that. So, but as far as how to become an artist, I got seriously injured in the military in the line of duty. And I don't know, they told me, the surgeon said, I don't know if you're going to be able to run again or, like all these things. Yeah. And I don't know, I didn't accept that. I'm guessing maybe a little stubborn in some ways. Yeah. I'm not in denial about it, but I'm just saying. But I don't know. I work my butt off to get fit and healthy again and overcome the injuries for the most part. And then just a year after I was injured, I climbed the Sacred Mountain of the East, the Cisne. Yeah, which is Blanca Peak near Alamosa. I did a solo summit up to the top, and up there I prayed and I left something very special to me at the top of the mountain. And I came back down. I started my life over as an artist.
And that's what's on your art with your past, of course, your adversity. Would you say it reflects in your work too, or is it stories in your work too, or is it just something you try to like maybe keep separate?
Keep separate.
Yeah.
No, my work is totally 100% like my feelings and emotions and my energy and just like all these things. It's kind of an outlet for me. And so I got injured in the military, and then it ended my military career. And so I was like, that was my job. So what am I going to do? And I have some college degrees and things like that, but I was just trying to figure out, what to do next. So just to be honest, I really kind of bounced on the bottom there for like just a little bit. And I started making some jewelry because I remembered seeing it as a kid when I said, we would come out here and I'd go to galleries and things and see all this really like awesome turquoise jewelry in the cases and things. Yeah. But I think that's kind of what initially got me into it. Yeah. So sometimes I say I'm an accidental artist because it was never my dream to be an artist, and it was never like my, whatever my calling in life or whatever, but it just worked out that way. Yeah. And I really love it. And it gives me a chance to create and express myself and just, I feel like for a big part, process feelings and emotions that I have and put them into my work. And so it's very kind of powerful for me. But I got this tattoo here on my arm. It's a lightning arrow. And it's kind of orange here because it's like shooting down and it's kind of cooling off as it goes. But so I got this. It was after I climbed the mountain and came back down. Yeah. And it just, the Hero Twins story really had inspired me because those guys, they faced so many just crazy odds and everything, but they went and they didn't give up. So it inspired me just to keep going. And I'm always like, the lightning arrow is like coming like this, and it's kind of going through life like this, just like we do, or at least I do. There are hard times. There are things that happen that I don't talk about, or I don't tell people about. It's like you just want to kind of put on the happy face and kind of, like interact with people in a good way and all those things. But there are struggles. And so the lightning arrow was always like kind of going like this, but moving forward. It's a powerful symbol to me of strength and moving forward through adversity and just not giving up. Not giving up on myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the lightning area that's really defines your style too, because a lot of your work has that on especially earrings and pendants.
Oh yeah,
which is really cool.
Yeah.
There's one. I also was kind of curious about because I'm just assuming right now. I'm assuming you're self-taught. But did you have any like families in your back at home and on the res that did you work to, or is it just something that you just manifested on your own?
Yeah. So I am. I would say mostly self-taught. Initially, when I became interested in making jewelry, I came out to the Southwest, out here to Santa Fe, and then Southern Colorado, and just kind of the areas over here, and Gallup. And I looked at all these different galleries, and I looked at all the people's work in there, and it was amazing, and it just kind of blew my mind. But at the same time, I saw a lot of work that was similar to other people's work, and you just see big cases filled with like sort of that same, that old style or whatever, the fabrication and stuff.
Yeah.
And I loved it, but I just wanted something kind of different, or something that was just like, I don't know, that you don't see a lot of, something unique. Yeah. And that's kind of how I got into Tufa Casting. Yeah. I was in a gallery in Cortez, Colorado, the Diné, and my aunt had worked there at that time. And she's the one who gave me my first piece of turquoise, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah, I was visiting the gallery, and she gave it to me. But I was in one of the cases. They had some Tufa cast molds there with these awesome, just rugged yet refined pieces in there. It was Aaron Anderson's work. Yeah, and so fast forward a little bit, but it just really stuck with me. The Tufa casting, that style, like all the things about it. I liked it because it was kind of like rugged and all these things, but at the same time, it was very like kind of refined and elegant, and I don't know, I feel like in relation to myself, that style kind of just spoke to me because on the exterior, it's kind of rough, and whatever, just like kind of like me at times, I feel like, and, but it's like all the things when they all come together, that's what makes it awesome and good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I ended up, I had gotten a hold of Daryl D. McGay and Aaron Anderson, and they shared a studio in Gallup, and they invited me to come out for a few days. And so I drove I think I was living in St. Louis, Missouri at the time. I had a house there. And so I drove out here all the way. That was like, I don't know how many hours, but like 16 hours or 20 hours or something. And they invited me to come to their studio. And so I got to hang out with them. I just asked them a million questions over the course of maybe 2 days or something. And they kind of showed me the basics of Tufa casting, and just kind of got me pointed in the right direction. Yeah. And then Aaron, I know he kind of stays out of the limelight a lot and kind of keeps to himself, but he was very inspirational to me. Just his, I guess, the hard times that he had gone through to get to this point in his life. Mm. Yeah. And then the way he like used those as lessons and moving forward in a good way and all that. So yeah.
How did you transition from Missouri to New Mexico?
Okay, so I'd come out here to kind of check out the scene and everything, and see what was going on with everyone else's work. Like I said, looking in galleries and stuff. And then I got to spend some time in Manawee, a studio there in Gallup. So that was really cool. And then I went back to St. Louis, and I just I got a torch and some tufa, and was just kind of playing around with it. It was like trial and error. Yeah. So yeah, and I would go online and try to look at videos and stuff, and just like back and forth. And it was quite a process there at the beginning. Yeah. So I didn't actually, I would say, become an artist or I don't know how I would say, release myself into the wild or whatever as an artist. It was about a year after that. So I went and played around with it, tried to learn as much as I could, just ask questions and all these things. And I was still living in St. Louis at the time. So I guess I'd kind of wrapped up my military career and like finally separated from the military. And it was the following year, and I was in St. Louis, and it was just, I don't know, like I said, I was kind of bouncing on the bottom there, trying to figure things out. And it was kind of a dark time for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember because I also built custom motorcycles. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I was always fabricating or working on something or whatever in my garage. And I just remember like getting on my bike and riding like so fast through downtown St. Louis in the middle of the night, like at 2 a.m. or something. The street lights and stuff and the stoplights would just be streaks of color, just like, yeah, I don't know how I'm still alive, honestly. I feel like I've had some very close calls and things like that, but I finally got it kind of turned in the right direction. Yeah. And I started putting all that energy and stuff into my work as far as, or as opposed to, the destructive things, that I was maybe doing at the time. Yeah. And I was just, I don't know, St. Louis traffic and just like whatever else was going on. I was just like, you know what? Like, I'm done. Like, I'm out. And so I decided to move out here. And I had met someone and formed a relationship, and they were from here in southwestern Colorado.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't know. One day I was just like, like I'm out. And so I sold my house in St. Louis within like 2 weeks, just packed everything that I could. I sold, all the things that I could just sell to kind of make this happen, because at that time I didn't have any like military retirement stuff or anything like that at that time. So yeah, I just packed up and moved out here. Initially moved to Durango, Colorado. Yeah. And then, I don't know. It's kind of like, I don't think I've ever talked about this publicly or really told too many people about it. But so what happened is I got out here and it went pretty well. And with the relationship and everything, or I thought anyway. And, I don't know, she ended up getting pregnant, and, she was going to school at Fort Lewis College, and, just, I guess, had decided that she wanted to get an abortion. Yeah. And, I don't know, it's kind of hurtful to talk about or whatever, but I didn't want to do that, because I guess all my life I believed in true love, and I've, just wanted to find like a good solid partner and maybe have a family and all these things. And I feel like I don't know, growing up, I mean, we didn't have TV and stuff. So we were like, I was reading books all the time about like, these, whatever, like stories about all these things. Yeah. And adventures and just like, but I don't know. But I believed in true love, I guess, at that time. Maybe I still do. But anyway, and so I supported her in this decision, even though it kind of went against what I wanted to do and everything. And I feel like I really sacrificed that. And so she ended up getting an abortion. And after that, I think that was just very traumatic for both of us. And then she bailed. She totally bailed after that. And I don't know, it really devastated me, honestly. And it broke my heart, and I feel like destroyed my whole life. And I just lost my military career and all these things, and just moved to this new place. And then, I guess to have this happen, yeah, I don't know. It was definitely a challenging time in life, but I feel like that's what I was coming from, and that's where I was at. Plus all the probably undiagnosed PTSD stuff at the time, that I didn't know about. But yeah, it was just not a great time in my life. And so I ended up, I just needed to get out of southwestern Colorado, and I just thought, hey, Santa Fe, let me just move down here, because this is kind of the mecca of the southwestern arts world, right?
Right.
And so I wanted to just start over and just, I guess, yeah, try to do the best I can and maybe become an artist. Mm-hmm. And so that's when I really seriously started focusing on my work and putting kind of all that hurt and pain and energy into my work. And then I moved to Santa Fe, and I just, I don't know, I had no idea what I was doing. And I don't know, I was struggling to even pay the rent and that sort of thing. And so I feel like, I don't know, I don't feel like very many great decisions were made during that time, my first year or so here in Santa Fe. Yeah. But I don't know. I finally, through just meeting different people and networking, and I was so naive when I came here, just like, I was so trusting and just like, kind of like maybe an idiot in a lot of ways, but I'm just saying, yeah, just being honest. So it was kind of a shock for me, because when I grew up there in southern Missouri, but everyone was like, they had integrity, or I mean, for the most part, you know. Yeah, there was some racism and these other things that I faced, but overall, my family, especially, you know, they were about doing the right thing, treating people with respect, you know, like all these things. And then going into the military, that kind of reinforced a lot of that.
Yeah.
And so when I came out, I was just like, you know, I thought people were just like nice and trustworthy and all these things, and that was not the case. Yeah, and I learned some very hard lessons when I first came here. Yeah, but I ended up renting a warehouse on the south side of town there, and I built a little living space in it. So I was just living in. I don't know if you're supposed to do that or not, but I was kind of living there in the warehouse and just working on my art. Yeah. And then just going to different galleries, trying to make connections, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. And that was in 2016. So not quite 10 years ago. Yeah.
Maybe talk about your future. How far do you want to take jewelry? I mean, where do you want to go with your jewelry and all that good stuff?
Cool. So just being straight up about it. I've been thinking about this a lot. And like I said, when I arrived in Santa Fe, you know, I was struggling to even like pay the rent and do all these things and just to exist or to live. And so from there, being that was not quite 10 years ago to now, it's just like I've been working like my butt off every single day. I feel like for so long, and it's been great. I've met a lot of amazing people, and you know, I've met some not cool people too, but I mean, I think overall, it's been a positive experience for me. And there are other things I want to do in life too. You know, like so I'm kind of thinking I'm building a house. I bought a property up in southwestern Colorado about 2.5 years ago, and I'm very thankful to have been able to done that. That's kind of one of my dreams, and currently, right now, is kind of a fixer-upper, and I'm building a house up there. And I don't know. It's peaceful. It's nice. I love playing in the mountains and then exploring the deserts of southern Utah, the canyon lands, all that stuff. And so I also have family there, and so it's nice to have family around. And I'm kind of thinking, you know, when I get the house done and stuff, I'm definitely going to slow down a lot. And I don't think I'm going to stop creating jewelry, but I'm definitely going to slow way down with it. I keep saying I might give in my head. I keep saying that I might give myself 3 more years, and then I'm going to call it and just call it good and go maybe do something else for a while. I'd kind of like to go back to school, maybe do a master's in. I have a background in exercise science, and so I'm very passionate about health and nutrition and fitness and things like that, and healing through nutrition. So I was kind of thinking about just maybe getting a master's in nutrition or something, or I don't know. I also started just learning how to play the guitar, and I'd like to focus a little more on that. And just there's so many things. It's a huge world out there. You know, do some traveling and go on adventures and all these things. And no matter what I do, I'm still going to be creating. But yeah, I think I don't know. I might step away for a bit. Yeah, I might give it maybe 3 more years. Yeah. And then maybe just step away or slow down because I'm just honestly like I'm just burning myself out, you know, like over and over again. And I tried to I stopped taking custom orders and just like all these other things just to try to find some balance between, you know, working all the time and then taking care of my own mental health and my physical health and all these things. Yeah. And I don't know, the hustle's real. And yeah, but there has to be, I'm learning too. And there has to be that balance or that harmony, you know, with all the things in your life. Yeah. Yeah.
Thinking another question is for the young, maybe young artists up and coming, maybe someone is kind of new to the industry, the business. Do you have any advice, you know, for the young new generation of artists?
I would say if you want to be an artist and you want to be successful, not a starving artist, right? because that's the whole idea, is to be successful in the things that you do. I would say go to school, go to a real school, get a degree in business. Okay. Business, maybe a minor in marketing or vice versa, but learn business, learn marketing. Then, you know what, during that time, focus on your artwork too on the side, and develop your skills and everything you need. And that way, when you graduate with your business degree, you're ready to launch yourself out there into the world as an artist. 100%. Yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Thank you so much for your time, Jeff. My favorite part was how you said you went upstairs in the gym, said a prayer, gave offering. That's really awesome. A lot of respect for that.
It's like, I don't know, it changed my whole life.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you know, I've made a lot of mistakes, and, you know, a lot of time it's been trial and error or trial by fire, but, I think just keep moving forward and don't give up. And it's always good to have a plan. Yeah.
Awesome, guys. I guess we're cutting the interview right now. But thank you so much for Jeff DeMent. Really do appreciate you coming by and speaking with us. Diné Company, Jeff DeMent. We have some pieces there. So yeah, start collecting, because he's going to be retiring in 3 years. It's going to be hard to get. It's going to be very expensive. So,
but also the only native owned gallery on Canyon Road, right? Mm-hmm. That's huge, and that's huge for me, and that's why I'm just so thankful to be a part of this with you guys.
We really do appreciate that. Yeah, we are the pretty much the only native owned on Canyon Road at the moment. So yes. So really do. I'm grateful for your time and for working with us. And I just want to say thank you so much again, and I wish you so much success in the future. Thank you for sharing your story. I know that's something really inspiring. Actually, you can inspire a lot of people out there. So thank you so much for that. Thank you.